This is the Qtv Nightly News, which is also on Key Radio 103.3 FM, and I am Jacqueline Coley. Thank you for joining us. Here are the headlines. The government of the Gambia has condemned the demolition of a section of the perimeter fence at the Gambia Armed Forces military border post in Fonyi Block by members of the Senegalese Armed Forces. Former Senegalese President Macky Sall was in the Gambia on Friday for talks with President Adama Barrow as part of his campaign to rally African support for his candidacy for the position for United Nations Secretary General. As the rainy season begins across the Gambia, health officials are warning communities to increase vigilance against malaria, a mosquito-borne disease that typically rises during the rainy season. The director of the National AIDS Secretariat, Alpha Khan, has dismissed claims of a rise in HIV cases in the Gambia. And in sports news, the Gambia Sports Journalists Association on Saturday brought together some of the country's sporting icons for a special day dedicated to celebrating their contributions and preserving their legacy. Those were the headlines. Now the news in detail. The government of the Gambia has condemned the demolition of a section of the perimeter fence at the Gambia Armed Forces military border post in Fonyi Block by members of the Senegalese Armed Forces, describing the action as unacceptable. The government said the situation remains calm and will be addressed through diplomatic and military channels. Usman Jatta reports.
These are the images from the Bullock military border post in Fonyi, where members of the Senegalese armed forces, accompanied by bulldozers, demolished part of the perimeter fence surrounding a Gambia armed forces installation on Thursday. In a statement issued on Friday, the government confirmed that the fence was demolished without prior consultation through the long-standing bilateral military and diplomatic mechanisms that have traditionally guided cooperation between the Gambia and Senegal. Describing the action as deeply regrettable and unacceptable, the government stressed that it remains committed to resolving the matter peacefully through dialogue. It said formal diplomatic engagement with the government of Senegal is already underway, alongside discussion through the Joint Military Committee and other established bilateral channels. The government also reassured the public, diplomatic missions and residents that the security situation remains calm. It commended personnel of the Gambia Armed Forces for exercising restraint and professionalism, preventing the incident from escalating. National Security Advisor Abubakar Suleiman Jeng later visited the military post to assess the situation. Despite the incident, the government reiterated its commitment to preserving the long-standing friendship between the Gambia and Senegal. The two neighbors have enjoyed decades of cooperation in defense, trade, border management and regional security, with both presidents recently reaffirming their commitment to strengthening bilateral ties. The border area remains particularly sensitive because of the decades-long conflict in Senegal's Casamance region. The proximity of the conflict has frequently posed security and humanitarian challenges for communities on both sides of the border, underscoring the importance of continued cooperation between the two countries. As diplomatic efforts continue, the government says its priority is to safeguard the Gambia's sovereignty while preserving peace, stability, and the strong relationship shared by the two neighboring nations. Osman Jatta, QTV News.
Former Senegalese President Macky Sall was in the Gambia on Friday for talks with President Adama Barrow as part of his campaign to rally African support for his candidacy for the position of United Nations Secretary General. The visit comes after a series of consultations with regional leaders, including Senegalese President Bassirou Diomaye Faye, as Sall seeks to build continental backing for his bid. Osman Jatta again.
former Senegalese President Macky Sall is touring in West Africa to rally support for his bid to succeed Antonio Guterres as United Nations Secretary General when the incumbent's term ends in December 2026. Sall arrived at the Banjul International Airport, where he was received by Vice President Mohamed B.S. Jallow before proceeding to the State House for talks with President Adama Barrow.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be here in Banjul, coming with my brother, President Omasito Kombalo. We come to greet our dear brother, President Adama Barrow. As you know, I'm running for a candidacy of the United Nations Secretary General, and I just went from Dakar this afternoon. I said I cannot come up to Dakar without coming to Banjul to greet my brother Adama and also to thank him for all his support and advice.
Sall said his vision is centered on strengthening multilateral cooperation, promoting peace and security, advancing human rights, and accelerating sustainable development. If elected, he would become one of the few Africans to serve as Secretary General of the United Nations.
As you know, we are in a very difficult world where multilateralism is weakening more and more. So, as Africans, we really need to work together, hand in hand, and trying also to give a big push to United Nations, where we want to emphasize our action around the key pillar of the United Nations, which is peace and security, a big challenge for Africa, but also human rights and, of course, the development side, which is very important for our populations. So I cannot do this race without coming here, asking for praise and also for support. And my dear brother greet us and also give us his full support.
Burundi has formally endorsed Macky Sall's candidacy for United Nations Secretary General. The former Senegalese president, who served from 2012 to 2024, is engaging regional leaders in a diplomatic campaign to build broader African support for his bid, although the African Union has yet to reach a consensus on officially endorsing his candidacy. Osman Jatta, QTV News.
As the rainy season begins across the Gambia, health officials are warning communities to increase vigilance against malaria, a mosquito-borne disease that typically rises during the rainy season. Despite years of progress in prevention and control, malaria continues to affect thousands of Gambians. Here is Babakar Sise.
The months between June and October require renewed efforts from households, communities, and health workers to prevent malaria infections. The Ministry of Health, together with the World Health Organization and other development partners, is strengthening prevention and control measures while advancing the country's ambition to eliminate malaria by 2030. Children under 5, pregnant women, and individuals with weakened immunity continue to face the greatest risk of developing severe malaria. However, the Gambia has recorded encouraging progress in reducing the burden of the disease. Annual malaria incidence dropped from 39 cases per 1,000 population in 2024 to 20 cases per 1,000 population in 2025. The 2024 Malaria Indicator Survey also showed that malaria prevalence among children and under 5 remained low at 0.8%, keeping the country below the 1% benchmark. Despite progress, global malaria efforts remain challenged. The World Malaria Report 2025 noted that worldwide malaria targets are still off track, with deaths in 2024 exceeding 610,000 people. In the Gambia, the National Malaria Control Program is implementing the National Malaria Elimination Strategy Plan 2026-2030, guided by the WHO Global Technical Strategy for Malaria 2026-2030. The plan focuses on stronger malaria surveillance, equitable access to diagnosis and treatment, improved monitoring system, climate-resilient interventions, and sustainable financing. In May 2025, the Gambia government launched a nationwide campaign to distribute over 1.56 million insecticidal nets to combat malaria, with the aim of ensuring every household receives at least one net. Supported by partners, the campaign received $2 million from the People's Republic of China, while the Gambia Red Cross Society provided anti-malarial drugs valued at more than $11 million to the Ministry of Health. The Gambia malaria response has also benefited from regional cooperation. In 2025, the Gambia and Senegal launched a synchronized bed net mass distribution campaign in the North Bank region, with support from the WHO and partners. The initiative aimed to reduce cross-border transmission and strengthen cooperation between the two countries. Innovation is becoming increasingly important in the fight against malaria. A key development is the Dragonfly Malaria Test, developed by the MRC unit, the Gambia, at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine with international partners. The low-cost rapid test uses a finger prick blood sample to detect hidden infections, including cases with few or no symptoms. With about 95% accuracy compared with PCR testing, it could help identify and control malaria in remote communities where undetected infections may continue spreading. New treatment options are also expanding care for vulnerable patients. Quatem Baby, the first malaria medicine specifically designed for newborns and infants weighing less than 4.5 kilograms, has been approved by Swissmedic. The treatment addresses a long-standing gap in the malaria care for the youngest patients. As rains continue and malaria risks rise, authorities are urging communities to take action. Sleeping under treated bed nets, eliminating breeding sites, using protective measures, and seeking early treatment remain key to saving lives. With continued investment, innovation, and collective efforts, the Gambia aims to eliminate malaria by 2030. Babukar Sise, QTV News.
We will now go for a commercial break. When we return, we have more national and sports news stories. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching QTV News, and I'm Jacqueline Coley. Here are the rest of tonight's stories. The director of the National AIDS Secretariat, Alpha Khan, has dismissed claims of a rise in HIV cases in the Gambia, saying there is no evidence of a surge in new infections. Here's an EPSAT, Barrier Fatugay.
HIV is surging down, it's not going up. If you look at the previously, 1986, down to where we are, the last study done, that was a general study, whereby the whole country was tested, that was the 2013 DHS. That was a demographic health survey conducted by GBOS alongside with partners. At that time, the prevalence, national prevalence was 1.9%. But then that 1.9%, there are components of the programs where some of the key population group was a bit higher. But what we also do as a program, we shifted our strategy towards those key populations where the epidemic is, and it went down. From 1.9, after 2 years, there was another study done, it went to 1.5. So mean the strategy interventions were good. Then further we bring in other strategies, bring in the HIV Control Act, where those stigmatized can be dealt with into law, but there was no looking at that. That one came. Then now index testings. When a family is tested positive, we follow up that family to see the spouse, or others were not positive as well. We screen for that. Also the co-infection like TB, because most of the HIV patients are killed by TB, co-infection, TB, pneumonia and others, syphilis. So we also went further to screen that component as well. So those were the strategies we used to ensure that the HIV is controlled. Then come the NSS, the Ministry of Health also do this national sentinel survey using the antenatal mothers. The last sentinel survey is now telling you is from 2015 down to 2023, the last study is now at 1.4%. So you can see from 1.9, 2013, now at 1.4%, the general population. So it's considered low. Anybody who told you it's going high is wrong. The guy could not interpret the data and he went viral using his own thinking. You have to use an epidemiological analysis to understand the data very well. The denominator the guy used was wrong. We rectified it, though it was not at this capacity. So I'm telling you now, HIV prevalence is going lower. It's under control, not like before. It's at 1.4%.
That was Alpha Khan setting the record straight on the rumors around the rise in HIV cases in the Gambia. Now, the University of the Gambia School of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences on Saturday held a white coat ceremony for the 23rd cohort of medical students, marking their transition from preclinical students to hands-on clinical training in hospitals. Mam Nabuka tells us more.
Held at the Law Faculty Auditorium in Kanifing, the event brought together university officials, medical professionals, faculty members, proud parents and guardians to mark the milestone transition of 74 students from the successful completion of their rigorous classroom-based preclinical training to their formal entry into direct patient care and hospital engagement.
I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity.
Dr. Mustafa Bite, Chief Medical Director of the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, shared with the students the significance of the white coat they've been adorned with.
The people of the Gambia, from our border villages and from Chamen Kirbaida to our urban centers, will look at this white coat and place their trust in you. They will not care about your scores, they will not care about your hands, your eyes, your heart. This coat is their assurance that you are competent, you are compassionate, and you are committed to healing.
Jalamang Jame, president of the University of the Gambia Medical Students Association, UNIGAMSA, urged parents to continue supporting the students, while Vice President Ibrahim Bojang shared words of advice.
They have to stay in the clinical wards and they have to stay for on calls, which would mean that they will be there for 98 nights and later return to their parents. So it means a lot of sacrifices is required from them from now on onward. So what I will plead with all the parents is that this group of people require your support.
The building block to you coming this far is, of course, your relentless effort. We all know that you are very dedicated people, you are very hardworking. So as you cross to the next stage of your medical education, just keep the hard work, just keep grinding. As they would say, a luta continua. The struggle continues.
Dr. Gabriel Ogun is the provost of the School of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences.
It's good to nurture young people and to see them become what you are. I have students of mine who are professors like me today, and I wish the class in 23rd cohort the very best in their endeavors. It's a sad thing. I just want to tell you I'll be leaving as a provost by the 30th of September this year due to unforeseen circumstances beyond my control. I'm privileged to also say that anywhere you find me in the world, I will be welcoming.
Sheikh Ndao represented AfriMed International Hospital, a key sponsor of the initiative and a partner of the university's medical school.
We commit ourselves to continue supporting the healthcare services of this country, especially medical education, to ensure that there is a constant, steady flow of well-trained, well-motivated healthcare professionals, ultimately improving our public health outcomes.
In appreciation, the students presented a gift to Provost Gabriel Ogun and expressed their gratitude for his support. Yanu Bas, class representative of the 23rd cohort, spoke on behalf of the students.
Today marks more than the wearing of a white coat. It symbolizes commitment before comfort, service before self, and excellence before convenience. Someone once said, the white coat is not a symbol of status. It is a reminder that someone, somewhere, will one day trust you with their life. May we never wear it casually. Let us continue to work together and lift one another. And by God's grace, when the day finally comes for graduation, may every single one of us stand together once again, not as students wearing white coats, but as qualified doctors, fulfilling the purpose for which God brought us here.
The 74 newly quoted students now carry the university's hope as they begin their clinical training and serve the health needs of Gambians. Mam Nabuka, reporting for QTV News.
Now in sports news, the Gambia Sports Journalists Association on Saturday brought together some of the country's sporting icons for a special day dedicated to celebrating their contributions and preserving their legacy. Held under the theme, Honoring the Pioneers and Inspiring the Future. Pap Kabasuso has the details.
You are the men and women who built our sporting history with your sweat, talent, and love for country. You raised the Gambian flag very high. So we say thank you.
Those were the welcoming remarks from the president of the Gambia Sports Journalists Association, Omar Jaju. The event celebrated the commitment, passion and patriotism of Gambian sports legends who persevered despite limited resources while preserving their stories and inspiring future generations. It also brought back memories of their sacrifices, triumphs and emotions experienced by some of the country's greatest sporting icons. Here is Charno Barature and Mas Aksigay, who are all football legends.
I would also recommend that sports development starts from the schools. This is where we get all the talents. That's why school sports is very important.
I was a very big wrestler. Starting from that, because my daughter asked me, Father, why did you, well, I've heard some people calling you Sajo. I said, that's my wrestling name. In a nutshell, I've started leaving that, going into school football, having the passion of being a good footballer for that matter. Of course, I was not very skillful. I was not born with skills like Mali.
The occasion also provided an opportunity to learn from their experiences, not only on the playing field, but also in sports governance and development. Dr. Samba Fall, former Minister of Youth and Sports, commended the ministry for decentralizing sports and investing in sports infrastructure.
I think this is great for legends to be honored, and it's long overdue. These are the pioneers that have built sports in the Gambia. Some are gone, some are still around. I used to be a sportsman. I started playing, doing sports at St. Augustine's High School.
Bai Dudu Jallo, president of the Gambia National Olympic Committee, described the event as timely.
The program reflects a deliberate effort to document history, celebrate excellence, and create a platform where younger generations can learn directly from those who paved the way before them.
The Minister of Youth and Sports, Bakari Baji, commended SJAG for the initiative.
Football, volleyball, basketball, athletics, and all disciplines that help shape our national character are represented here by the very men and women who carried our flag long before most of us ever watched a match on television or listened to commentaries by the likes of Sonjai and the late Malik Jones.
Other legends, including Charles Thomas, Lamin Owens, Baital, Bai Malawada, Alaji Dudu Kapijuf, Isa Fai, Talib Sow, and Tijan Masane Sise, among others, were also recognized. Some were unable to attend due to health reasons, while tributes were also paid to those who have passed away. Their stories, journeys, and commitment to the development of sports in the Gambia have helped shape the country's sporting history and laid a foundation from which the next generation can draw inspiration in their pursuit of excellence. For Qtv News, Pakaba Suso.
Also in sports news, as the countdown to the Glasgow 2026 Commonwealth Games continue, we shine the spotlight on Ibrahima Kamara, the Gambia's fastest sprinter who made history by becoming the first Gambian to break the 10-second barrier in the 100 meters, clocking a personal best of under 10 seconds in Sweden. Here is Mamadou Gajaga.
Ibrahima Kamara is no stranger to pressure. The 29-year-old Bundung-born sprinter holds the Gambian national record with a personal best of 9:98 seconds in the 100 meters, a historic achievement that made him the first Gambian to break the 10 seconds barrier at the Stockholm meeting in 2024. Since making his Olympic debut at Tokyo 2020, Kamara has become the leading figure in Gambian men's sprinting. As he prepares for another major test, he will lead a strong Gambian athletics team at the Glasgow 2026 Commonwealth Games, alongside fellow sprinter Lamin Kamara and Aliou Diouf. The Games, scheduled for the 23rd to the 2nd of August, will mark another opportunity for the Gambia to compete against the world's best and showcase its growing athletics talent. Glasgow will be Kamara's third Commonwealth Games appearance, following his previous outings at the Gold Coast in 2018 and Birmingham in 2022. With experience from World Championships and the Tokyo Olympics, the Gambian record holder, with a personal best of 9:98 seconds, enters the competition with confidence and ambition. Kamara's journey has been built on years of dedication. He gained his first international exposure at the Africa Youth Championship in 2013 before going to represent the Gambia at the African Games, World Championships, and Olympic Games. Now preparing in Europe, Kamara carries more than personal ambition. He carries the hopes of a nation that has watched him rise from a promising young athlete to a record-breaking sprint icon. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News.
That brings us to the end of this bulletin, but do join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. for the Week in Review with Mamadou Mboj and Usman Jata. Many thanks for joining us, and bye.